Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 1235, episode 1235. Happy Thursday. Welcome to a Thursday edition of Hobby Evolution. It is a new chapter. I was absent yesterday, and that was because of, as I've talked about over the last couple months, Biscuit was having health issues. So we had to make that awful decision on Tuesday night, and Biscuit had some ups and downs. Well, really, since she was diagnosed with her heart condition several months ago, but she went into multiple heart failures over the last couple months. She was just starting to go into her third heart failure. But we also, at a recent vet appointment, she was diagnosed with lymphoma, and all of her lymph nodes were extremely, pronounced or whatever they do. So we had started going through some of just to try to help her with that. Obviously, both conditions are terminal. Um, Friday night, she was having issues, and we thought about taking her in to the emergency vet on Friday night. Ultimately, I said her breathing was okay. It wasn't labored. Her heart rate was normal for the new normal, I guess. So I said, she's just really tired. She's going through, her body's going through a lot. She's just a 9-pound dog. Let's just get through the night. And, if we have to, we'll take her in on Saturday. Saturday, she bounced back and she was great. In fact, she barked at a walking by dog, which I hadn't seen her get excited about another dog in a while. So Saturday she bounced back. She was eating, and then Sunday just that lethargy again, just very lethargic. Her breathing was, accelerated from where it was Friday. She had a weird episode Sunday night. We were on the couch and my wife was watching her, and we've been watching her, super close with these conditions. And she had been laying in her dog bed, and she'd been like resting her head over, like, how dog beds are, the bedding, and then there's like sides, just kind of elevated a little bit. And so her neck was like over the side. So she gets up and it was like she was stretching her neck, but it was like prolonged, which it looked like real, like, is she going to pass out? So we watched her. My wife picked her up and she just kind of like was out of it. So we took her in on Sunday night. They were packed. By the time we got to the emergency vet on Sunday night, she was alert. She was walking around, just like normal, like, get me the hell out of here. I don't want to be here. And it's like, okay, they're packed. She's alert. She's not displaying any odd symptoms. Let's take her home and not put her through the stress of another triage at the emergency room. So we took her home Sunday night. Monday she bounced back, but it was almost like here over the last week, her good days were less and less good, and her bad days were worse and worse. So Monday she was okay. Tuesday, very lethargic. I was checking on her. My wife was working. I'm down here, but I'd go up and check on her frequently throughout the day. She snapped at me in the morning to go out potty, where with her Lasix, she's got to go frequently. And she just didn't want to get out of bed. And I'm like, this is not good. She did, very slow. When she did want to get up and move around, she was very slow. She didn't eat. We gave her what's called Entice, which is gets their metabolism working or whatever. So they're hungry. still, like, she would eat some treats and some cheese, and that's it. She'd take her pills with the cheese, but she didn't want to eat food. Uh, she was just super lethargic. My wife came home and she didn't even like move. And so that's when my wife had a lot of concern, where she didn't get up and just even really move around. So it's like, you know what? Let's make her a biscuit burger and try to get her to eat something. Wasn't having it. She ate a couple pieces, just didn't want it. Her breathing was getting worse and her heart rate was worse. So after dinner, kind of keeping an eye on her. And so later Tuesday night, my wife took video, sent it to our vet. Our vet's best friend is a cardiologist, dog cardiologist, and you need to take her in. And I think we both knew without our vet saying, she said it. And Biscuit in these last few days, just it wasn't fair to her to keep her in that position and keep pumping her, keep taking her into the vet, keep pumping her with medication. It's just not fair to the dog. And so we had to make that decision. And that was Tuesday night. So I didn't feel like doing a show yesterday morning. Didn't get much sleep. Got better sleep last night. And time heals all wounds. The wounds will always be there, but it does help. So my wife came down yesterday and she's like, hey, I hate coming home to no dog. And I'm like, I know. I hate going upstairs. I know it's still fresh. She's like, so I know where this is leading. So she said, there's a breeder of Biscuit was a Havanese, and awesome dogs. They don't shed, hypoallergenic, good dogs. And the breeder where my wife got Biscuit from, the weird thing is I haven't known my wife without Biscuit. Biscuit was about a year and a half old when my wife and I started dating 10 years ago. And so it's weird. So my wife reached out to the breeder, and she has one where an adoption fell through, and she's got another litter that will be up for adoption in October. And I said, let's just give it a day. Let's give it a day. It's still too fresh. And then we can decide. Let's just give it a day. Let's sleep on it, give it a day, and then we can make that decision. So saw the video. My wife's already fallen in love with this dog. We had dinner. My mother-in-law had us over for dinner last night, which was really nice and good to get away, especially for me. I was in the house all day, which I was very productive, just to keep my mind off things. So my mother-in-law said, now, you're coming home with that dog on Friday, because we're going to see this Havanese. His name is Wolfie, but I don't like that name. So we actually, after dinner last night, we were looking up dog names and what would be a good name. I don't know if anybody has any little Havanese. He's black and white Havanese, the cutest thing. I would imagine we're going to adopt him because my wife will not be able to leave without him. So that's just how my wife is. So yeah, we'll see. My wife's never had a male dog before. I've only had, Biscuit was only my second dog. My first dog was Boomer. He was a black lab. And his death was sudden, which sucked. He was hit by a car and we had to put him down. And he was a male dog. So my wife's never had, she's like, one of her best friends also has a Havanese, Buster. And Buster obviously is a male. And my wife was over there petting him, and she's like, he got a red rocket. She's like, I don't want a male dog. They get red rockets. And I'm like, well, it's okay. I think we'll be okay with a male dog. Probably gonna hump the couch. I don't know. Like that JD Vance guy. So yeah, so that's it is what it is, and a new chapter, and probably by the end of the weekend, or by the start of the weekend, a new dog. I don't know how this adoption. I don't know if it's just like we go through. I know with my wife knows them. She's gone through this adoption process, so I'm sure it's an easy process as repeat customers, I guess. So I don't know if you just go in. I don't know if it's like going to get groceries. Do you just go in and say, I want that dog? Here's a check or credit card, I guess. Nobody writes checks anymore. You come home with the dog. I don't know if that works. Or if it's like buying a gun. Can you say the G word on YouTube? I don't know. It's like buying a GUN. You have to go through like a 90-day wait period. So I think Zach and Porter win the dog name. Low Rover Scratcher. Gravy. So my wife wanted to get a second dog, and we did for 36 hours. That was a failure. His name was Pierre. But my wife wanted to name a second dog Gravy. I actually met two dogs. I think they were English bulldogs at the Cubs convention, and they were named Biscuits and Gravy. Or Garvey. We could name it Garvey. There you go. So that's what's been going on. So I wasn't in the mood to my wife did post something on Facebook. I just wasn't up for social media yesterday. I checked in. I popped in and out of some chats. I responded to some tweets here and there, but I wasn't on as much as I usually am, which is kind of good, kind of nice, a nice break from social media. So yeah, I didn't post anything. I was gonna pop into the Hobby Evolution Facebook page and say something like, "Yeah, I think most of you figured out what was going on," and then it got around. So that's why. That's why. Let's see. Let's go to the chat. Victor, good morning. Thank you. Go Cubs. What a win last night. What a win. Was it 13-3? Peter's here. Good morning. Thank you. Appreciate that. Brian, what's going on? Good morning. Zach, what's up? Thank you. Orlando's here. What's going on? Good morning. Stuke, what's going on? Good morning. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Archer. Boston Smoke, I appreciate it. Kyle says, dogs and grandpas never last long enough. Sucks. Been thinking about you and Mrs. Bo. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's like your first sentence reminds me of the country song that whenever it comes on, I'm like, oh, it's kind of a sad song, but it's like, it's the truth. Mama's house. Every small town needs a Mama's. Or how's that song go? I bet Kyle knows. Mama's house. And it's true. Mama's. Thomas Rhett. If every town had a Mama's house, featuring Morgan Wallen. Thank you, Tiger727. They truly are. I mean, Biscuit was our child. We don't have children. We don't want children. We want dogs. And Biscuit was certainly a member of our family and one of our children. Thank you, Orlando. Appreciate that. Thank you, Steve. What's up, George? Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mark. Red Light 34. What's going on? Value Box Digger says, being owned by a pet is the greatest thing ever, right? We don't own pets. They own us. And the hardest thing ever. It is. Having to play God is the worst in making the decision. Thank you. I appreciate that. And it got me thinking, like yesterday, you have all these thoughts like going around. I'm into true crime, right? And I think what attracts me to true crime is the psychology behind, because I don't understand. Like, I don't understand the mind of a serial killer, or a killer, doesn't have to be a serial, or a spree shooter, whatever it might be. And I think that's what attracts people to true crime, is we don't understand, and we have that, our mind needs to understand, and we never will. What got me thinking was the playing God part, and that's what commonly comes up in psychopaths, is the thrill they get from playing God. And I don't understand. And I don't understand. Like, how can somebody be wired to where they get a thrill and enjoy that? Because in playing it out on Tuesday night, it's the most horrendous, awful thing you can do. And I mean, I think it's just everybody's mind is differently, and some are just fucked up. And that's about all I can say. Jody, good morning. Brian, thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you, Jody. John says, aren't gummy bears Habanese? Value Box Seeker says, when my 15-year-old dog passed, I got a 3-month-old pup from the shelter. Yes. Be prepared for feeling like a newborn. Up every couple hours to train, energy galore. It's a new ball game. So when my wife came downstairs yesterday, I am in the midst of like 3 different card projects. So I haven't set up at a card show in months. I've taken in all of this inventory, the estate sale, 2 bulk buys, and a Goodwill pallet, all within the last like 6 weeks. And so I'm just like flooded with cards right now. So my rec room floor is kind of my sorting area. And my wife goes, when we get a puppy, you're not going to be able to have these piles. And she's like, unless it's like Biscuit. Biscuit avoided things. If there was something on the floor, it could be a leaf on the ground. She would walk around it. Like, Biscuit would almost cat-like. Really was cat-like. Like, although some cats are assholes and they're cat. So she wasn't cat-like, because I wouldn't trust a cat around my piles of cards. Biscuit would come down and she'd, walk in, and if there's piles here, sometimes she'd go up and sniff, but completely avoid. But you can't trust a puppy. So, and I don't want a puppy to come down and piss all over my cards either. So yes, I'm trying to mentally prepare myself for a puppy. When we went through the experiment of a second dog, it was a puppy, Pierre, the cutest damn thing ever, but just a puppy. And it's like, this is now. We also had Biscuit at the same time, and Biscuit wasn't really having Pierre, and so it was trying times. At least with a puppy now, gets our sole focus, right? And so yeah, that's one thing. Excuse me. I woke up at 3 this morning, just wide awake, and I was up for about an hour. So my sleep the last few nights has been kind of fucked up. So yeah, I'm trying to mentally prepare myself for a puppy. And obviously, and really, here over the last couple months with Biscuit's condition, I was pulled away a lot. I work from home, obviously. My wife doesn't. So, I was here all day, and, I could check in, just walk upstairs and do whatever. So, so I'm kind of prepared in that regard to be distracted, with a puppy. So, but I've got to get in that mindset. For me, it's been a while. I guess, Biscuit was kind of still in the puppy stage when we first started dating, but by the time we moved in together, she was kind of really out of the puppy stage, but she always had a lot of energy. Like, even when, up until a few months ago, she had the energy of a puppy. Like, we would go for walks, and, go up to other dogs, and the dog owners would be like, "Oh, how old's your dog?" And I'm like, "She's 11." And she's like, "11?" It's like, she's acts like a puppy. And I'm like, "Yeah, she's got a lot of energy, lived a full life. Unfortunately, it was too short." Philly Joe, good morning. Thank you. Appreciate that. Value Box Seeker says your wife will be fine with a male dog. She puts up with you, right? If she can put up with me and my piles of cards all over the basement, I think she'll do okay with a male dog. John says Bartman sounds better than Wolfie. Yeah, I don't like Wolfie. Cooter votes for Gravy. John votes for Garvey. What if Wolfie identifies as a female? Is that okay? Well, I think it's the Red Rocket. If Wolfie identifies as a female, that's okay. But my wife has the issue with the Red Rockets. I think this is my favorite so far. Low Rover Scratcher. Wolfie. Cooter with the comment of the day. Make sure the breeder takes goods and services, right? I saw another person got scammed on Twitter. Guess how you can avoid that? It doesn't matter how much business you've done. Pay fucking goods and services. Don't get scammed. Well, I've done deals, thousands of dollars in deals. Doesn't matter. Pay with goods and services. Don't get scammed. Don't be dumb. And don't pay sticker. Zach and Porter says, don't pay sticker on that dog. Value Box Digger says, in Minnesota, you do have to fill out paperwork to adopt from a shelter. If you rent, you are required to provide proof from landlord you are allowed a dog. Yeah, so when we went through, in my thought process with this adoption, they have, we'll probably have to update our address and all that. But my wife's already adopted from this place. We did have to go through that when we adopted for 36 hours, Pierre, a couple summers ago. We had to go through, paperwork, and we had to do like an in-home visit with Pierre and Pierre's foster family. And that was through a rescue agency. But I think with this adoption agency, I think it'll be simpler just because we've done it before. My wife's done it before. Dawson is a cool name. And that's what I was thinking, like, what kind of male dog? And I'm like, well, that opens it up. A female dog kind of closes the door on Cubs related names. But it's like, but I want something cool, but also unique, like Wrigley. Like a lot of dogs are named Wrigley. What else? Like, I don't know what other names, but we'll see. John says, what is the breeder's net to me? Johnny M, thank you. Appreciate that. It was difficult, extremely difficult. Cooper lobbies for Ernie. Ernie's kind of a cool name. I like that because we were actually last night we were talking. It's like, what dog names? Because it's cool, like Bob. And like Bob for a dog is just, it's fun. It's funny. It's fun. You can call it Bobby. Bobby, come here. And I think one of the realtors in my wife's office, they have like a Bernese mountain dog named Bob, I think. So I think that's cool and unique. And so we were talking about like human names as a dog. I love human names as dog names. Ernie, I kind of like that. My daughters would have named Theodore. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm yawning. Would have named Theodore Samuel, Ted for short, had they been boys. I like Ernie. Could name him after a Cuban baseball player you like. It's the national dog breed of Cuba. There you go. Trying to think who's a Cuban Cub. I'll have to look that up. Grinding for Good. What's up? Thank you. Appreciate that. Johnny M says, I work with a local rescue in New York. After the paperwork is approved, we do a home check to make sure it looks good for the dog. Then we set up a meet and greet with the dog. Brian, Mike, thank you. Appreciate that. John says, I don't understand the mind of the modern collector, and I certainly don't want to understand it. Cats are ploppers and interrupters. Yeah. Cats are kind of assholes. My mom's cats are okay. Now, one of them is an asshole to like certain people. Like she'll bite but that cat has never, like, that cat's always been like really nice to me. Like, comes up, cuddles with me, very, uncat-like, almost dog-like. Her other cat just kind of avoids human contact, kind of like I do. It's like, hey, you and me, we're on the same page. But they never fuck around with shit. I can't say never. At least when I'm there, they don't fuck around with shit. Like, sometimes I'll bring cards in and sort, but they don't. They just kind of like, that's new. What's going on? They'll do a little sniff, but I'm sure they fuck around with my mom's shit. Value Box Digger says, poor condition on eBay store will have a new meaning if puppy pees all over cards, right? Yeah, might smell a little bit. Cooter says, I don't want to hear I can't make Dallas because I have to take care of the puppy. That ain't happening. That's getting that. That's been approved. Dallas has been approved. People can buy guns without getting approval from their landlord. What a country. Jody is a Cubs name. There you go, Jody Davis. Name him Yachty. No, that's the last thing I'd name a dog. Fucking Yachty or Molina. Name the dog Stay. Fergie is unisex. There's a Cubs name that can go both ways. Fukudome, yes. Shithead is always an option. Minnie from Minnie Minoso. There you go. That would have been a great female dog name. I guess, hey, if it's good enough for Minnie Minoso, it's good enough for a male dog. Travis leaves us on a cliffhanger. How about, he continues, Raffy after Rafael Palmeiro. Raffy? I like that. I think Ernie. I think I still like Ernie. I'm going to take these to my wife. Minnie, Ernie, Raffy. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. Good morning, Brian. Cooter says, I agree with John. Shithead is a good name. Then we can start calling Bo Naven, as there are some similarities. Yes. My favorite movie of all time. F-bomb. I'll compromise. Name him Lou. No, not naming him Lou. Brian says, dog Cub names, Lecoq, The Riot, Sammy. Not The Riot. Ryan Terrio's a prick. No Ryan Terrio nicknames. Orlando. Actually, we were sitting at the I talked to Cooter the other night, on Tuesday night, actually. And when we were in the vet's office, we were just talking about random things. And my wife goes, how did your call go? And I'm like, huh? And she's like, your call with, I'm like, oh, with Cooter? And she goes, what's his real name? Because I'm not calling him Cooter. I said, it's Tom. It's like, okay, how did your call with Tom go? And I'm like, who? You mean Cooter? Get 2 dude dogs. Call them Eddie and Stone. So my wife wants to get a second dog. Right now, they only have 1 dog available. But then they have another litter coming in. So we'll see. Brian says the Riot is a prick. That sucks. Yeah, he said some comments. Let me see. He said he's finally on when he was traded to St. Louis, he said, I'm finally on the right side of the Cubs-Cardinals rivalry, and implied the Cubs considered winning the World Series an afterthought. So he kind of just he was an asshole when it came to the Cubs. So yeah, if you Google Ryan Terrio Cubs, there's a lot of art. It's basically the only stuff that comes up when you Google him. Yeah, so he's finally on the right side. It was an afterthought in Chicago, and there may be some truth to that back in the day. It really wasn't talked about too much. It was like an unattainable goal. And now being here with an organization like this, it's right there for the taking. At the Cubs convention 2 months later, I don't know what year this was, 2010 or 2011. At the Cubs convention 2 months later, Terrio's former teammates were not shy about voicing their displeasure. I'm not going to lie. I was a little ticked, Giovanni Soto said. Cubs catcher Coy Hill was even more direct. There's probably a decent chance he's going to feel how hard the dirt is around the home plate batter's box. At least once, maybe once in at bat. I don't know how long it's going to take. I want to get an apology out of him. And until the whole team, the whole organization kind of feels satisfied. That was what Coy Hill said about Ryan Theriot. Carlos Zambrano said, quote, he's the enemy now, which is, he's a Cardinal, so of course he is. So there you go. Ryan Theriot, fuck him. How about Santo? Santo's a cool name. George says, call him Eddie. I'm like, Eddie? For Vetter? Is Harry available? Two Dogs and Bo won't only be skipping Dallas. He's going to be shutting that eBay shop down for a while. No, that's not going to happen. Fernando says you can name him Coffee. Cooter says, is it too soon to remind your wife that Biscuit also has a similar slang meaning as Cooter? Oh, it is too soon. I won't bring that up. Still too soon. But I wish you would have pointed that out a couple months ago. Rhino. After your fave new Cub, Pete Crow. So, hey, I did some things with my eBay store. We talked a few days ago about eBay store categories, and I was just kind of cleaning up my store. I want to clean up my store, so kind of started the process of that, and I'll share my screen. I did tweet this out, I think, the other day. So here's kind of the start of my eBay store. I need to get a new header. That just looks terrible. So I need to get a new eBay header up there. But I've done featured categories. So I want to keep newly listed as a feature on my homepage. But I think I'm going to feature categories now that I've seen it. Now that I've got those first two examples, because the idea was, okay, I'm going to do 1970 football, 1971 football, 1971 baseball, blah, 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 blah. But now that I see it in front of me, it kind of gives me some ideas to play around with different categories. So player lots, and I've got like refract. So I think somebody in the chat said categories on refractors. So I think I'm going to do a refractors category. I'm going to do an autographs category. So, and then those will be in my featured categories. And of course you'll be able to search them in my store. So it's a work in progress. So then there's the featured items, which are, just items that I want to move, lots, my reseller lots, my Churchman's lot, my Sports Illustrated for Kids lot, the Sammy Sosa lot that's never going to sell. So that's kind of what I'm aiming for. I talked about waiting to get a laptop. I couldn't wait any longer. I went to Walmart the other day to look at laptops. They had a nice back to school on an Acer 16 gig memory, like a terabyte of storage or whatever. And so I looked it up, looked like a good machine. It was only like $360. So I went back yesterday because I couldn't find anybody in the electronics section. So I went back yesterday and I wanted to Google, and I wanted to do some shopping around just to see. So I went back and I'm like, hey, can I get this laptop? And they're like, I don't know if we have any left. So looked it up. I'm sorry, we don't have any in stock. I can call Monona to see if they have any. I'm like, nah, I'll just look online. So I looked online and Walmart didn't have any online, but you could order from like a third party, and then it became like $440. And I'm like, I'm going to go to Amazon. So I went to Amazon, shopped around, and I actually found a machine with slightly better, little larger 16-inch screen as opposed to 15.6. 16 gig, terabyte of storage. And I think it's a slightly newer processor, slightly faster processor for about the same, like a little over 400, like $420, I think. So ordered that on Amazon. It's going to be delivered today. So love me some Amazon. So that's going to give me something to do where right now I'm just working on cleaning up my store from this desktop here in my office. Where the idea for the laptop is, hey, we're watching Netflix instead of just scrolling Twitter on my phone. I can get my laptop out. I can play around with my store categories and do some of that at night. So bought me a new laptop. Where are we at? Cody's in the house. What's going on? Good morning. Says it's so hard to pick dog names. My vote is Barry. Barry's a fun name for a dog too. Victor says my dog is named Rhino, so I can't take Rhino. And I think Rhino is one of the that's a common dog name. Back when I was growing up, Butkus, we had a neighbor who had a kind of, might have been a Chihuahua. Or no, maybe Butkus was a Dachshund. I think it was a Dachshund. Butkus. And then there were like 3 dogs named Butkus in my town back in the 90s. But I think Butkus is, I mean, you think like Butkus played into the 70s. It was only 20 years prior. That'd be like naming a dog Urlacher today. Like, that just doesn't, it's like, wow, has it really been that long? Ray, what's going on? Good morning. Looks like you need to pay 70 card show royalties, right? I know. Offbeat All-Stars. Brian says that's a cool dog name. Aaron's in the house. Good morning. Is there any way for you to see how many people have actually gone to your homepage as opposed to all of your listings? I don't think so. Let's see. I wonder if there's a way. I wonder if because I have 99centcards.com, I'm sure there's a way to see, even though it's forwarded. Now, if I can remember my sign-in for GoDaddy, where it's hosted. Let's see, I know my email that it's hooked up to. Now, trying to find the password is going to be the difficult part. Hey, it worked. We don't want to text because that's not my phone number. So they emailed me. Where the hell's my phone? Let's see. We're going to have to open my email here. Because I'm wondering if there's a way to see one-time code. How many people have gone to 99centcards.com? All right, there it is, 99centcards.com. I've got some domains that I can probably cancel. Let's see, can we do dashboard? I want like stats. Can I get stats? Apparently not. Domain. Says my domain is worth an estimated $1,172. Yeah, right. I don't think there's any way to see stats. Does anybody have experience with here? I can view sites. This is probably just going to take me. Yeah, that just takes me to the store. Maybe I should check the comments. Anybody here? Nope. Where are we at? Well, I think Brian. Ooh, former GoDaddy employee from the good old days. Where are we at? It might show metrics on forwards. Best way to do that would be a tracking URL with Google because the domain is forwarded. Aaron says, do you have Google Analytics? No, I don't think so. Because it's not a site. It's just eBay. It's just a forwarded domain. Find a new domain. Yeah, I don't think you can do it. I don't see any. I'm going to do one last click on manage domain, and that's just going back to the same stuff. Profile. Yeah. So no, I don't know. Don't know. Let's go back. Where are we at? Brian says, should have let me know if you needed a new laptop. Just sold 14 of them. New laptops are fun. I just got a nice 14-inch Samsung laptop tablet. I can fold the keyboard over and use it as a sweet book, comic book, PDF reader. Nice. Good morning, Flawed Thinker. Sweetness. No, I don't like sweetness. I like Walter Payton, but I don't like the name. Let's see. Flawed Thinker says, I messed up an eBay listing and accidentally added it to my buy 4, get 20% off promotion. It was an Ichiro Auto. I will lose about $15 on it, but at least it's a repeat customer. Still stinks. Yeah, that does suck. Yeah, I think I'm going to do, I think I might do a 50% off sale coming up in the near future. But only on like $10 and under cards, just to try to purge some old inventory and lower dollar inventory. So I've got to look into just to make sure that's easier said than done, easier done than said, So we'll have to see on that. What else is going on? So yeah, eBay store, laptop sales have been great. July, I've just got to run the numbers, but July looked to close in, I believe, and I was in Europe for 2 weeks. I think July was right in the mix of my 4th best month so far year to date. So even being gone 2 weeks, which was way better than I was hoping for. So can't be mad at that. So I'll have to run the numbers. It was going to be close to 4th or 5th out of 7 months. And I know it's like, well, 4th out of 7, that's not that great. But, when you're only working half of the month, was much better than I expected, and hopefully hit the ground running in August. Hopefully I get speaking of sweetness, hopefully I get my sweetness Walter Payton rookie card back from PSA this month. Next week, hopefully at the Janesville Card Show. Hopefully it comes back with a decent grade. Put that in the eBay store. The Dr. J rookie is also at PSA. A George Brett rookie's there, in a 74 Topps Nolan Ryan. So hopefully those 4 come back with decent grades and can get me a little boost to the eBay store. And even though a lot of the stuff that I've been buying lately has been pretty liquid. So I think in Janesville, I might be on the lookout for some buying opportunities. Not bulk, but more quality. And I'm not talking about $100 cards or slabs or anything like that, but stuff that, dollar box stuff, $5 box stuff like that. Looking for liquidity and stuff that can easy flips. So it's been good. The estate sale, and I say the last couple of months my sales have been great. Now I also came into a once in a lifetime opportunity with that estate sale. But those are the types of things to be successful. Like sometimes you have to get lucky. Like you have to make some smart decisions. Smart buying decisions. But sometimes luck plays into it. And sometimes it's right place, right time. And you get an opportunity. Look at, if you're in the Hobby Evolution Facebook group, Mikey. And I think this is why people find what they do. When Mikey posted that Facebook Marketplace, like, hey, what do you guys think? And some people said, oh, it looks like a bunch of commons. But I saw, and Mikey reached out to me and said, hey, do you think this is a good buy? And so I looked through it, and I think the sticker price was $550. And I'm like, okay, but I saw a box of like all 70s. And I'm like, okay, even if it's all commons, it's going to be a slow roll, but I would I would buy a bulk lot with a 4-row box of 70 stuff. Now, you don't know the kid. Hopefully it's in decent condition. Looks like it was. But then there were some, I don't know what year Star Basketball it was, but a lot of Celtics, the Larry Bird, the Kevin McHale's, the Robert Parrish, those sell. And I'm like, okay, the Star Basketball alone is a good deal. There was a 70s O.J. Simpson in there. So I saw value, and I'm like, I think that's a good deal. I didn't think it was going to be the deal he got. Walter Payton rookie, a lot of 70s rookies in there. Ended up being a phenomenal deal. He's a couple cards, he pays it back. So I think that's why people come into purchases like that, because a lot of people think, oh, it's just a bunch of commons. They don't see the good stuff. Well, if the Walter Payton rookie is splayed out, it's $550 for a whole bunch of stuff, including all the best cards. How long do you think it's going to last on Facebook? 30 seconds, if that. But if all that stuff's hidden, like the estate sale, all that stuff was just, now we all saw, it's all like, oh shit. And once we started finding cards, it's a race to find the Payton rookie and whatever else. But it's not also pure luck. It's how do you identify what could be a good deal? And so the estate sale wasn't just dumb luck for me. It's not like I just stumbled upon this estate sale. I stumbled upon the listing in a Facebook group. And then when I saw a picture of a couple small boxes of 70s cards, it's like, oh, wow. Now, there was no Walter Payton shown. There was no Dr. J rookie shown. There was a couple boxes, and it's like, if I could get this for a cheap price. And there was way more than, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to just try this out. I've never do an estate sale. I'm going to try this out. There could be, you just get that feeling. There could be some good stuff in there. Sometimes you get that feeling. It's like, oh, it's it's just a bunch of junk. But sometimes. So does luck play into it? Absolutely. But you've also got to identify potential opportunities. And not all potential opportunities pan out. Sometimes there's gold in them there hills. Sometimes it's fool's gold. You can't win them all. But the old lottery saying, if you don't play, you can't win. So there you go. Where are we at? Orlando says, can't wait to see the grade on that Payton rookie, predict an 8. So the consensus is like 7, between a 7 and, do they do 0.5s on PSA? Like there's so many consensuses, like 7 or 8. So if there's a 7.5, I've never submitted a PSA. I'm not a big PSA. I'm not a big grader. So I don't know, which reminds me, I need to get a few cards to submit for Janesville. I've got the Jeter SP rookie I want to sub. I've got another Mariano Rivera rookie Bowman that I want to sub. I've got a couple Cubs that I want to send to SGC. So need to remember that. Bargain Boxer, when is the next Madison card show? Looking for steals and deals. You might get them. Apparently you can't get them at the National, but you might get them in Madison. August 24th, Saturday, August 24th, another 200 table show. 200 tables. We'll have the TCG only room once again. The State Street Ballroom will be open, the Williamson Ballroom, the Capitol Ballroom, and the mezzanine upstairs. So 200 tables Saturday, August 24th, Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive. Of course, it's free admission. Show hours 9 to 3. Early birds are welcome to the Madison Card Show Saturday, August 24th. Also, my eBay store. I did add some new stuff to my eBay store yesterday. Added about 90 singles from 1970 Topps Baseball. These are in, I think they're listed as very good condition, which means they have like significant damage. Some people would say they're very good. Some people would say they're poor. Look at the photos. So those were added to my inventory yesterday. 99centcards.com. Also added some player lots with some of the bulk I've acquired here over the last couple months. Had some players. So I've got an Aaron Judge, I think 25 card, different card lot. I think there's an Ohtani 25 different card lot. Fernando Tatis Jr., Juan Soto. And then there's a Shohei Ohtani lot also. And a Bobby Witt Jr. 50 card lot. Duplicates in the Bobby Witt Jr., but he's hot right now. His stuff's been moving. So go to my eBay store, 99centcards.com. Hey, if you want to save, if you buy 7 items, lots are included in that sale. Buy 7 or more, you'll get 25% off at checkout. So you can really get a good deal on some of these lots or singles, whatever floats your boat. 99centcards.com. 7 or more, you get that 25% off at checkout, and that goes for anything store-wide. So check that out, 99centcards.com. Brian says, oh, yeah, I want to slab some of my Nolan Ryans. Swing by Madison Card Show Saturday, August 24th. Kyle says, hopefully you get luck and Walter gets a 9. Wouldn't that be awesome? I think it's going to get a 7 because it seems like half the people are saying 7, half are saying 8. So I'm thinking 7. I'll be a little disappointed because I want an 8. I'd love a 9. Kyle says, I have subbed cards I thought were 5, 6, come back 10s, and cards I thought for sure were 9 or 10 come back at 3. Grading is a roller coaster. And I understand when I got this Verlander back. Now I understand like the excitement. This was raw. This was raw in a box from the estate sale. And it comes back in SGC 10. And it's like, oh man, that's crazy. Like it looked clean. Like I didn't see any scratches on it. The corners are sharp. I'm like, I'm just going to sub it. We'll see. Didn't think it'd come back at 10. And yeah, so I'm going to find out with what I subbed. It'll be a nice little, the Peyton and Dr. J, those you have to sub no matter, you have to sub those. So that'll kind of give me an idea of, okay, I'll use that as kind of a test run on potential. Now I'm not going to start subbing a whole bunch of stuff, but like the Jeter SP, that's a card that you just sub. Mariano Rivera Bowman, 92 Bowman. There were 3 or 4 in the latest Goodwill palette. That's something that I'll sub. I sold 1 raw. I've got 1 listed, and then I've got 1 that I think I'm gonna. I've got a 72 high number football. I've got 4 of them. I don't know. That one I'm not gonna sub. That one I'm not gonna. So no, the 72 highs there's some flaws on them. But also, who knows, even with flaws, say it comes back at 3, what's a 3 sell for? Might be worth it. I don't know. That dude from Duryea says, I've seen a lot of vintage returning PSA 5s. Middle road may be the winner. Hope for better. Don't tell me that. Brian says, my family got tickets to the Packers game on the 24th. I'll have to sub at the September show. Saturday, September 28th is the Madison Card Show. Saturday, September 28th and August 24th. Brian says, hey, just putting it out there. If anyone finds the Jackie Moon upper deck from Semi-Pro, let me know. Kyle says, grading is a rush like opening packs. The anticipation is fun stuff. It is. Absolutely. I am like eagerly anticipating this return on these from PSA. So we'll see. What else? That's about all I had. So hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. 99 Cent Cards is the eBay store. 7 or more items at regular price. You'll save 25% off at checkout. 99centcards.com. Next Madison Card Show, Saturday, August 24th. Next show that I will be set up will be in Janesville, Wisconsin. Sunday, August 11th, Janesville, Wisconsin. I've been working on dollar boxes this week, so I've got a whole bunch of 70s football and basketball. I've got I think a 2 or 3 row box of each sport from the 70s, and then I've got some other stuff, refractors. There's going to be some autos. They're going to be loaded up, so come out and see my dollar boxes in Janesville, Wisconsin. I won't bring quarter boxes Depending on how many dollar boxes I get made up, I may bring some old quarter boxes as dime boxes. Probably will have some. There might be. I shouldn't say I won't bring quarter boxes because I probably will have soccer, hockey. I will have hockey for sure by request. I'll bring soccer, and then I might put together another box Shane was asking about. So I'll probably bring a few quarter boxes of other sports stuff. And hell, maybe I'll throw together a football or baseball quarter box just because I have so much stuff. We'll see. That's kind of right now. Dollar boxes are taking priority, but I have started. We're still 10 days away from the show, so I may have time. This is probably the most prepared, most preparation I've put into a card show since I started doing card shows again after COVID. When I started the Madison card show, put a lot of work into the quarter boxes going into the April 2021 Madison show. So they're going to be good. So come out and see me in Janesville, Sunday, August 11th. Alrighty. Now I'm going to go make my mushroom coffee. Oh, the Bears are on tonight. I should have worn my Bears hoodie. Maybe I can wear it in preseason winning celebration tomorrow. We'll see. But no starters. So we won't get to see Caleb Williams. We won't get to see Roma Dunze. We'll get to see Tyson Bagent though. That's exciting. So Bears tonight, Hall of Fame game. I don't know who they play, but I'll have the game on. That's what I had. So thanks for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber. Like the video, please. Visit my eBay store, please. 99centcards.com. Buy 7 or more items, 25%. That includes lots. There's some good lots in my eBay store. 99centcards.com. Have a wonderful, what day is it? Thursday. Have a wonderful Thursday. We'll do this again tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central, and we play Name That Player. We've got a fresh scoreboard or a fresher scoreboard. We played a couple weeks now with a new scoreboard. So we've got new leaders, new rankings, new standings. Name That Player tomorrow morning, Hobby Evolution. See you then.